A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. Today we are going to begin our next chapter, that is chapter 7, and the topic is volcanoes. So the term volcanoes has been derived from the word Vulcan. Vulcan is actually a Roman god of fire. Okay. So a volcano was known as a mountain of fire, and people used to regard it with faith. Because in the earlier times, anything which people could not understand, they worshipped it. Even in India, you see, we worship the people tree, we worship the tiger, the rain, the thunderstorms, etc. So this was all at that time, electricity level was so high that whatever a person could not overcome, he started to worship it because that caused him harm, and he thought by praying to that particular thing, he would be saved from that harm. So that is why they started to worship it. Even volcano was so dangerous that people thought by worshipping it, it will not harm us. Now, a volcano is not a mountain actually. Well, it is a vent or an opening, usually circular or nearly circular in the form, though through which heated materials consisting of water, gases, liquid lava and rock fragments are erupted from the highly heated interiors of the earth. As all of us know that the interior of the earth is very hot and it contains hot molten materials. These materials, when they get a passage through the hard rocks, they come out to the surface of the earth, and gradually they form a small mountain and then a bigger one, and this is known as the volcano. So now there are few terms like volcanology. Volcanology is the term given to the study of volcanoes, and the scientists who study about the volcanoes, they are called volcanologists. Okay. Now volcanism has two components. Okay. So one of them operate below the earth's crust and the other above the earth's crust. So that which operates inside the earth is called the endogenetic mechanism, and the other which operates outside, means above the surface of the earth, is called the exogenetic mechanism. Now firstly we have is the endogenetic mechanism, which includes the creation of hot and liquid magma and gases in the mantle and the crust, which is found very much below the surface. Their expansions and upward ascent, their intrusion and cooling and solidification in various forms below the crustal surface, they form the bacoliths, lacoliths, sills, dikes, bacoliths, etc. Okay. Secondly, we have is the exogenetic mechanism, that is on the surface of the earth or above the surface of the earth, and this includes the process of appearance of magma as lava, volcanic dust and ashes, fragmental materials, mud, smoke, etc. in different forms such as fissures, flows or violent volcanic eruptions, hot springs, geysers, fumaroles, etc. So these are some of the mechanisms of the volcano. So next we have is the components of a volcano. It's very important for us to know the components, and the components are the volcanic cones, the vent, the pipe, the crater, the candle, etc. Now, the volcano of explosive type have a volcanic cone which is formed when the erupted materials accumulates around the vent, means as the magma starts to come out and get cooled, a sort of a cone starts to be formed. This is called a volcanic cone. The vent is an opening or circular or nearly circular shape at the center of the cone. It means like a well. You see from the top, it will be like a well. That is called the cone. The vent is connected to the interior of the earth by a narrow pipe. It means there is some structure like a pipe which is joined to the interior of the earth from where the volcano rushes out. So this volcanic material erupts from this pipe, and finally you have a funnel shaped hollow at the top of the cone, and scientist is called the creator, right? Thirdly, we would discuss about the types of volcanoes. It is very important for all of you to know that how many types of volcanoes are there in the world. See, volcanoes of, first of all, you have the active volcanoes. Okay? Then you have the dominant volcanoes, and then you have the extinct volcanoes. Now, what type of volcanoes are these? Actually, there is a wide variation in the mode of volcanic eruption and their periodicity. According to the volcanoes, can be classified into three types. Okay? They are, first of all, you have the active volcanoes. Active volcanoes erupt frequently and constantly eject volcanic lava, gases, ashes and fragment material. There are more than 500 active volcanoes in the world. Etna and Stromboli are the examples of these. So most of the active volcanoes are found on the eastern and the western margins of the Pacific Ocean and along the mid-oceanic ridges. Okay, these are the areas where the active volcanoes are found. Secondly, you have is the dominant volcano. So when you talk about the dominant volcanoes, these have become quiet after eruption. Means after they have erupted, they have become silent, and we think now these might not erupt again, but we are mistaken. They do not show any indications of further eruption. These are also called the sleeping volcanoes. Okay, like for example the Mount Vesuvius is an example. And these volcanoes, there is something going in the interior and they can erupt. Now, it depends upon how long they sleep. Maybe some will be sleeping for thousands of years, some may be sleeping for more than that. But one fine day or the other, they will erupt. That is why they are called the dormant. Active volcanoes, they are always erupting. Dominant, they will erupt. Just now they are sleeping. And the third category is the extinct volcanoes. Okay. Now, the extinct volcanoes have not erupted for thousands of years. It may be pointed out that no volcano can be declared permanently dead. Remember that. If any volcano had erupted once also in their lifetime and they are sleeping, we cannot say that it is dead. It will never erupt. You never know when which volcano will erupt. But these volcanoes have shown their history of sleeping for thousands of years, so they come under a category of extinct volcanoes. Okay? And we do not know what is exactly happening below the ground surface, because even our scientists have not gone deep. Maximum deep we have gone is 8 kilometers, right? And beyond 8 kilometers what is happening, even we do not know. That is why we cannot say anything. But still we have three categories and we have characterized them, right? So when we talk about the causes of the volcanoes, the causes, we can say that the mechanism of volcanism and volcanic activities are associated with several processes. First of all, like we have is the temperature. A gradual increase of temperature with increasing depth at the rate of 1 degree centigrade for every 32 meters. That means if we go down the earth at 32 meters, temperature increases by 1 degree centigrade. Like how above sea level, when we used to go 162 meters, temperature dropped by 1 degree. When we go interior of the earth, it increases. Okay. Now, so magma is formed due to the lowering of melting point, which in turn is caused by the reduction in pressure and the overlying material. Gases and vapors are formed due to heating of water, which reaches underground through percolation. All of us know percolation, the penetration of water inside the earth, okay, due to which are water levels. But when this water goes more down, obviously when it comes in contact with the hot layer, it changes into gas. And all of us know how powerful gas is. Biggest example is the running of our steam engines in the early times. Okay? So this gas causes a certain disturbances and it even has the force to move the tectonic plates as well. Okay? Now, the ascent of magma forced by a vast volume of gases and water vapor, which causes cracks, and due to these cracks the magma rushes out, because already in the interior of the earth it is very very hot and lots of pressure is created over there, and this is the reason why we have volcanic eruptions and earthquakes as well, because when the tectonic plates will move, earthquakes will also happen. So we can say that volcanoes and earthquakes, they are brothers and sisters. Okay, usually they come together or one after another, right? Now we talk about the volcanic landforms. So there are various landforms are created due to the cooling and solidification of magma below the earth's surface and lava. Okay. Some relief features are also formed due to the accumulation of volcanic materials. And the features that are found are grouped into two broad categories. That is the extrusive features like the cinder, ash cones, composite cones, basic lava cones, acid lava cones, lava domes, lava plugs, craters, calders, etc. And secondly is the intrusive features like the intrusion inside the earth. That is the batholiths, laccoliths, faccoliths, lapoliths, sills, dikes, etc. So firstly we are going to talk about the extrusive feature. So in the extrusive feature, first of all that is formed is the cinder or the ash cone. So the cinders or ash cones are formed due to the accumulation of loose particles around the vent, means on the surface of the earth. Its size increases due to the continuous accumulation of volcanic materials minus lava, means lava is not there. Only these ash or some of the soft materials, they start to accumulate. Okay. The larger particles are arranged near the crater and the final particles are deposited at the outer margins of the cone. These cones are permeable to water, that means water can percolate inside them. They are porous in nature as they are made up of loose unconsolidated material. Okay. Secondly, we have is the composite cones. They are of the highest and the rare formed by the accumulation of various layers of volcanic materials. They have alternate layers of lava and fragmented material, wherein lava acts as the cementing material. So most of the highest symmetrical and extensive volcanic cones of the world, like we have the Cotopaxi, Euclidean, and the Fujiyama, which is in Japan, and the Rainiers, which is in USA. These are some of the examples of the composite cone. Okay. Now you have the basic lava cone. They are formed of light and less viscous lava. Thus, a long cone with low height is formed, and these are also called the shield cone. Next category is the acid lava cones. They are formed from highly viscous lava. Cones of steep slopes are formed and are also known as the stromboli type. Next is the lava domes, are more extensive than the shield cones. These are formed due to the accumulation of lava around the volcanic vent on the top of the lava mountain. Then the craters are depressions, means are big pits, holes formed in the mouth of the volcanic vent, which is usually funnel shaped. It differs from caldera with regards to size and mode of formation. Next is the caldera. Is the enlarged form of a crater. It is surrounded by steep walls and is formed usually due to the subsidence of the crater. Okay? Means when the crater becomes broader, a caldera is formed. When the steep slopes are finished. Okay? Craters have steep slopes, whereas calderas, they have standing slopes. Okay, this is the difference between. You can say that the crater is funnel shaped and the caldera is like a well. Right? Understood? In the volcanic landforms, you have a second portion also, that is the intrusive landform. So in this intrusive landforms I had told you earlier, you have the laccoliths, batholiths, the faccoliths, dikes, etc. Now, what are batholiths? Batholiths are long, irregular, undulating and dome-shaped features. Their side walls are very steep, almost vertical. They are buried deep within the earth. When exposed, they are subjected to weathering and erosion. Such dooms can be seen in the Chota Nagpur plateaus of India. Now see children, for you it must be a little difficult. What are these things? Actually, inside the earth, when the landforms occur, certain shapes are there because the tectonic plates are huge land masses. So while making their movements, they may leave some gaps. Now these gaps can be of various types. They can be dome shaped also, they can be pipeline also, they can be long in length or various kilometers also. Okay. So what happens when the lava comes out? This lava fills up into these cracks. And then these bacoliths, laccoliths, all these are created. Clear? Now, next is, now according to the shape we name them. Okay. Like dome shaped, we name them as batholiths. Okay. Next is the laccoliths. Laccoliths are formed due to the intrusion of magma along the bedding planes of horizontal sedimentary rocks. They are usually mushroom or dome shaped. Thirdly, you have is the pacholiths. They are formed due to the intrusion of acidic magma along the anticlines and the synclines in the region of fold mountain. Thirdly, you have is the lapoliths. They are formed when magma solidifies in shallow basins. The rocks are coarse grained due to very slow process of cooling. Sills are usually parallel in the bedding planes of sedimentary rocks. The thickness of the sills ranges from a few centimeters to several meters. And lastly, you have the dikes, are wall-like formations of solidified magma. These are vertically to the bed of the sedimentary rocks. The thickness ranges from a few centimeters to several hundred meters, but the length can be several kilometers. This is the difference between sills and dikes. Sills have short length and dikes have long length.